So this month our channel's video topic is bullying. I want to apologize on how late this video is. I'm sorry, I've been really sick and I'm actually still really not feeling well. So if my voice cuts in and out during the video, I'm sorry, bear with me. Before I actually start talking about the subject, I want to just say that there are a lot of different kinds of bullying. Some might seem like they are less horrible than others, but none of them are okay, and no single form of bullying is more acceptable than the other. They're all wrong, and I think the goal of my video, as well as the videos of my collaborators on this channel, is to really make people think before they speak, because if more people did that, the world would be a much better place, and it would also raise awareness for the things that go on in places like social media and schools that most people don't really pay any attention to. So the first thing I want to talk about is cyberbullying. I feel like most social media users, including myself and some of the fellow collaborators on this channel, have been bullied through social media at some point or another, whether it's a body shaming comment or trolling or a full-on personal vendetta. And as somebody who pretty avidly uses social media, although I know I've been kind of MIA the past few weeks, but like I said, I've been really sick, but it's hard. I mean, for the people who are serious hardcore YouTubers and the people like my friends and I who run this channel and the people with a lot of followers on Instagram or Facebook, we get a lot of hate, and that's part of what it comes with. But you have to realize people put a lot of effort into the things they post, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr, Instagram, etc. People put a lot of time and effort into it, and to tear them down, whether it be for content, how they look, it's just unnecessary. And then there are things like just random nasty comments that I've seen posted on random people's Instagrams. And when I see them, I'm like, who would take the 15 seconds out of their day to write this to another person? What is the benefit other than tearing somebody else down to build yourself up? Those 15 seconds it takes a person to write, oh, you're fat to somebody, or oh, you look stupid, or make a racist remark, that time could be spent so much more wisely. You could be bettering yourself, because obviously if you feel the need to hurt somebody else, there's a problem there. Or you could be doing something to make somebody else's day. Don't waste 15 seconds of your life to hurt somebody else. If you look at the story of Amanda Todd, and for those of you who don't know her, she was a young girl who made a poor decision on the internet, and it basically turned into her being blackmailed, physically assaulted repeatedly, and seriously cyberbullied to the point where she took her own life. If you want to know more about her story, there is a video she made on YouTube that is still up, but a little disclaimer, it's really difficult to get through without crying, no matter who you are. But in that video, she specifically says, I just need a friend. I need someone to be there. And when you think about it, that's all anybody really needs, is a support system, somebody they can go to. And to have all these people, including people she didn't even know, starting Facebook pages, which are still up today, telling this girl she should end her life. And now that she's unfortunately deceased, people still post that they're glad she killed herself. First of all, if I had been one of those people who contributed to causing this poor girl so much pain, I don't understand how anybody could live with themselves. If I knew that I was part of the reason a girl took her own life or somebody hurt themselves, or even if they were just really damaged or hurt from it, I could not be okay with that. I would not be okay with myself as a person. And it's things like that that I just don't understand, because when it comes to the internet, people have a tendency to say things they would never say to you in person, whether they know you or not. Because there's that screen, there's this level of being anonymous, and you don't have to confront that person face to face if you don't see them every day. And I think that's why social media has become such a tool for cyberbullying. I know some states have made cyberbullying a criminal offense, and you can be fined thousands of dollars, expelled, or even thrown in like juvenile hall. And I think that has a point, because the internet, especially on social media websites, a lot of these sites started to create a sense of community, whether it be YouTube or Instagram, Reddit, Vine, Tumblr. It's supposed to create a sense of community, and if there are people going out of their way to hurt each other, it kind of diminishes that. And I know myself, as well as some of the other collaborators on this channel, have had some nasty things said about them by people who don't even know us. And personally, it doesn't really bother me because I know that this person doesn't know me, I don't know what their deal is, but if they feel the need to hurt me, then obviously something is wrong. And I'm not going to feed into it by responding or being negative back. And I think if people in general, when they're using the internet, especially when it comes to social media, think about what you say before you post it, because even if you don't mean it to be mean, a lot of people say things and don't realize that sarcasm can't be perceived on the internet, and things can come across much more hurtful than you mean them, or they're just blatantly out to hurt you. And if people just took the time to think about what they say before they post it, social media would be a much friendlier place, and there would be a lot less hatred amongst users and a lot less bullying. And I think everybody who uses social media has dealt with that at some point, and it's really not necessary. So when it comes to social media and bullying, people really just need to follow that golden rule of treat others the way you want to be treated. Like the little thing you're all taught in kindergarten when you're like this big and really tiny. And maybe I'm naive for thinking people should genuinely live by that rule, but I think the world would be a much better place and people would be far less depressed because, let's face it, more people than ever have depression these days, and it's a real illness. And if people learn to support each other, that would be a great thing. And now I want to talk about some bullying that's other than cyberbullying. Growing up, I lived in a mostly white, extremely wealthy suburban town. Little scene kids with big hair and lots of makeup didn't really fare well. And my friend group and I were pretty ruthlessly bullied for a really long time. And I personally switched schools my senior year because I was just done. And one of my best friends, well, my best friend, she and I have known each other since we were 4. She had to drop out of high school because of all the bullying that went on towards our friend group. Our sophomore year of high school, she started getting massive death threats over her cell phone, on her house phone, and it became such an issue that there was one point where she was chased out of the building by a mob of like 30 kids in our grade. And I know a bunch of us, she, her parents, myself, and I think a few other girls who were friends with us, went to our school and said, "Hey, here are these voicemails of all these kids in our school threatening to end my best friend's life for absolutely no reason. We were different. That was enough for them." And the school told us, "You should drop out. We might have a zero tolerance bullying policy, but we're not going to do anything. That's like 30 kids. Most of them are athletes. So you're better off just dropping out of school because we're not going to punish them." Number one, that is in no way acceptable in any way, especially for a school with a so-called zero bullying tolerance. And my best friend had to drop out of high school. Now, she went and got her GED. She's in college. She's studying to be a teacher. And she's one of the strongest people I know. But I had to go through high school without a best friend. I never got to see her because I was stuck there. And all of those kids got away with it. And I had to watch for the next 3 years that same group of kids pick on different people, including myself. And they never learned from it. And things like that are just so ridiculous because a lot of schools will say they have a zero tolerance policy and they'll let all the bullying slip by, whether it's because, oh, the students are athletes, it's too large a group, it happened outside of school. If there's evidence, like voicemails, and I mean like probably 100 voicemails, the school really needs to step in because people don't change. I know that sounds really cynical, and I want to say that people learn, but it's rare. for most part, people don't change as humans. They grow up a certain way, they attain those morals, and obviously kids rebel, but for the most part, those morals stay with you. And that's why they have those expressions like father like son, whatever. But if you are taught from a young age, oh, bullying is okay, you're going to grow up to be an adult bully. Even on TV situations, like I know on Modern Family, the dad has like a bully at his real estate agency. And that's a very real thing. And people need to learn how the things they do can really affect people. My best friend didn't graduate high school because 30 kids thought it would be funny to hurt her. And these are the kinds of things that I just don't understand. I always joke with my close friends that I'm not a person. We all say, oh, I'm a mermaid Barbie. My friend Victor is a llama. And we go by these terms because I don't feel comfortable associating with humanity as a whole when the majority of it lets things like this slide. Because for me as a person, when I was growing up and I saw a kid get books knocked out of his hand, I was the one person to walk over and pick them up. I remember being a teeny tiny little 10-year-old, and a bunch of the moms of the girls in my class had written up fashion police tickets and told their daughters to go around and tell the other girls in our grade why they were ugly and write it down and tape it to their desks. I know this happened, and I know the mothers specifically did it because I was friends with those girls. And I stopped being friends with those girls. And then I became a target. And I was okay with that because even at 10, I was like, these kids are making fun of each other and we're a class of 12. And this is really not okay. And for parents to be encouraging that kind of derogatory cruelty towards each other and instilling it in children. I mean, when you're 10 years old, you should pretty much be worrying about cartoons and maybe homework, depending on the school you went to. I know I had crazy homework from the time I was 8. But you shouldn't be worried about, oh, I'm 10 and my skirt is going to make me look fat and these girls are going to tear me down. That's just so wrong. And I mean, I remember being even younger than that, and there was a boy who moved here from England, and all the kids in our grade randomly decided, I think I was 8 or 9, and they decided that he was going to die, and they created this huge thing of how this boy deserved to die because he was from England. Okay, because that made sense, but I was the one who went and said something to a teacher because I had seen it go on for a few weeks. And after that, every single kid in the entire grade hated me because they knew I was the one who said something, because I was the only one who was speaking up for him in general. And that turned into, at elementary school age, me getting punched in the face repeatedly by another little girl in my class. And the parents covered for it, and the teachers covered for it. And no small child should have to go through that. Nobody should have to go through that, period. But especially at such a young age, when people are pushing kids to have this deep-seated hatred and this need to hurt each other, it's just not necessary. And it causes a lot more damage than it's worth. And bullying has obviously seriously affected my life. And it's seriously affected my friend's life. I wouldn't be the person I am without the things I went through growing up. And I think that's the case for most people. I mean, I am a lot stronger because of how badly I was treated by the other kids growing up. And I know my best friend is a lot stronger too. And to this day, she and I will be sitting in my apartment, her apartment, our parents' houses, whatever, and we'll be like, do you remember in middle school, elementary school, high school, preschool, do you remember this and this happening and how horrible that was? Who the hell does that? And it's kind of like, oh my God, we were little kids, and stuff you see in movies, bad 80s high school, college movies was happening to us. And it's just ridiculous. And that's the main reason so many kids today struggle with things like self-harm, eating disorders, and it's because we have a tendency to tear each other down as people. And a long time ago, this was a lot less of an issue, whether it be it wasn't publicized as much or it just didn't happen. But more and more, as I've grown up, I'm a nanny, I watch the younger generations. I've seen 2-year-olds at a daycare grab each other around the throat and shake them and say they want to kill their classmate because they're annoying. When I was like 2, I don't think I could even form that sentence. And it makes me sad for humanity because we have so much potential to do so many good things. One nice comment on someone's Instagram post could make their day, while one mean one could be exactly what they needed to push them over the edge and make them do something to hurt themselves or make them feel completely broken and alone. If there's just one person for every other person on this planet who will reach out and say, hey, I'll be your friend, I'll hold your hand. If this person's going to make fun of you, I will defend you. Think about how much happier people would be knowing they had people they could rely on. And yes, people have friends, but also think about how many friends have a tendency to stab each other in the back. Back to what I was saying before about that golden rule of treating people the way you want to be treated, I really do believe that that is a really valid statement that we're supposed to be getting taught from a very young age. I think growing up we even had a song about it, at least kids my age did. And a lot of people forget that. And I know people get bitter and jaded as they grow up. My mom always says I'm this bitter person who hates people, but it's not that. I hate how people treat each other. And I think if people just learned to look at each other and say, okay, I might have blonde hair and blue eyes and be 4'11" and super tiny, and you might be 6'4" and have long dark hair and brown eyes and be from another country, but right down to it, you're made of skin, I'm made of skin, we both have bones, we both have blood, we're both mostly water, we're people, and I respect you because you're another human, and I have no right to go out of my way to say something that could really damage you or really hurt you, and why would I want to when I know how that feels? And I guess my whole point to this is just think about what you say before you say it, and think about if you were in the position you're putting other people in. I know personally when I'm on Instagram, if I see something I don't agree with, whether it's a comment that I think is really hurtful, I'll just report it or I'll flag it on YouTube or whatever. I don't feel the need to troll and start this huge war because that's the kind of thing that just causes more problems. But in general, I try to really only put out really positive things, like really positive vibes for other people. Because one positive comment could mean the world to somebody, whether you intended it to or not. And I think if people learned to just treat each other more positively, even if you're not feeling good inside yourself, being kind is scientifically proven to make you feel better. And if you can make somebody else feel better, then that's a great thing. I mean, right now, our legacy as humans is global warming and epic cyberbullying and all these horrible things. We're having riots, and most people having those riots have no idea what they're even about. And if people just slow down for a second to really think about who they are and what they want to do for the world, people would be so much happier and the world would be a much kinder place. And it would be a place I'm proud of. Because right now, the majority of people, I'm not exactly proud of. I'm not exactly proud to say I went to a school that basically threw kids out when they were the bullied ones because they didn't want to punish people. I mean, when people ask me, oh, where did you go to high school? I don't really feel comfortable saying that. It's not something I'm proud of. And if people start acting like they want to be proud of the things they do and they want to be a good person, everything would be a lot nicer and the world would be such a healthier place. So, to sum up the whole point of this video, bullying, whether it's online, in person, whether you're 40 or 2, it's never okay, and it can seriously hurt people and cause damage. And just think about the things you do or say, because that's all the world really needs, is just a few people to say, hey, you might want to rethink that because it's not helping anybody, including yourself. So, yeah, it's pretty much my little soapbox right there. So, you can subscribe to the video, listen to all the other collaborators on this channel, and we will see you next month. I think I picked the topic next month. I'm pretty sure I do. So, we'll see. I don't know what it'll be yet. It'll be interesting though, I promise. Bye!